government is strategy in this moment. The government is planning that to import food to the alternate states. Now we have about LC is 126 million, which we are allocated to the all food item and the medical equipment and also the building materials and also the fuel to be imported to the country.
Amina Kasha said the food items were imported from abroad to narrow the food gap in the country and to be sold at affordable prices. Amin Akasha, who is also the Secretary of South Sudan Business Union, urged the business community to be strong in facing current challenges the country is facing in order to maintain the economic stability of the country. For SSTV News, I'm Iko Amaria.
SPLA has urged the media to report the truth rather than publishing lies about issues in South Sudan. SPLA spokesperson Philip Aguer was reacting to a report published by Nyamle website alleging that Egyptians are fighting alongside SPLA. The military spokesman described the report as baseless and unfounded, accusing the rebels of using propaganda to meet their senseless campaign.
Sudan TV and South Sudan Radio. Today, from the SPLA General Headquarters, we would like to make a briefing on few issues. One is the level of lies and propaganda on the social media. We would like to warn our people, both the internal and the external audience, to read with care the levels of a cheap propaganda in the social media connected with the current conflict and violence in the Republic of South Sudan. And today, a group associated with Riek Machar forces in a social media website called Nyamele reported that the forces of Riek Machar have captured 12 Egyptians in a youth town that were with the SPLA forces, and they fabricated their names. The SPLA General Headquarters, and particularly the office of the SPLA Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Paul Malung, has categorically identified this as a cheap propaganda and false. What was first, what were the Egyptians doing in Ayut, and what took them there? This is a fabrication and a propaganda that will not sell even to the intended buyer. The SPLA General Headquarters dismiss and reject strongly these confusions and assured the people of South Sudan and the public at large that Ayut is in a firm control of the SPLA. There has never been even attack or fighting when this cheap propaganda came to the website. The second issue in this briefing is the clarification on the report of the United Nations on the involvement of child soldiers in the war in South Sudan.
Central Equatoria Council of Ministers, in its extraordinary sitting on Friday under the chairmanship of Governor Clement Wanikonga, agreed and gave approval for UNHCR authorities to construct dormitories for girls at Juba Orphanage Home. Speaking to the media, the state official government spokesperson, Subha Samuel Manasseh, said the council also agreed for establishment of labor reform activities and payment of fees and legalization of alliances, employment, and the contracts agreement. The council further agreed that the state government authorities immediately take over the control of teak forestry reserves across the state.
March 2014, the Ordinary Council of Ministers number 8 for the year 2014 was convened under the chairman of the governor, Central Equatorial State, and we discussed three important agenda. Agenda number 1 is a memo from the Minister of Gender and Social Development regarding construction of dormitory for girls at Juba Orphanage Home. This dormitory, there was an assessment which was done by UNHCR in the orphanage center, and they established the need for construction of this orphanage because of the increase and expansion of the number of the orphanage in the center. And of course, secondly, also there is need by the Ministry of Social Development and Gender to separate girls from the boys, and therefore this become a priority. So the UNHCR demanded the State Minister of Gender and Social Development to provide an approval, the state approval for this project, then they will go ahead. So this memo was brought to the council for discussion, and therefore the council unanimously approved this project to go ahead, such that the increased number of orphanage can be able to get some accommodation, and also to give protection for the girl child in the orphanage. So this project has been approved, and also there is a request by UNHCR to make sure that there is an engineer of the state to work with them in the process of the development of the housing plans for the construction of this dormitory, and this approval has been given to the Minister of Physical Infrastructure to ensure that there is a constructor attached to UNHCR while they are developing the construction of the house as well as an implementation of the project. Agenda number 2 was a memo from the Minister of Labor and Public Service about labor reforms activities and payments of the fees and legislations of the alien registration. We realize that Central Equatoria has a lot of workers, labor, that come from outside, and others are from within, that are working within the businesses in Central Equatoria State. However, the ministry as well as the state government is not benefiting from this abundance of the workforce that are there. And therefore the minister took upon herself to present this memo to come out with the legal basis of how we can be able to collect money from the abundant labor force within the state. And of course the schedule that she brought this was not her own, it was a schedule of 2007 and 2011 amended tax law, where the schedule for these provisions are provided for. And therefore she brought this thing forward and we discussed, and therefore the council approved, but then they said this schedule should go for the economic cluster to look at the figures in the economic cluster together with the State Revenue Authority, such that the figures, particularly the rates, will be reviewed, because we realize that most of the rates are very slow. So once the rates are reviewed and brought back to the council for discussion and of course subsequent approval, then it will go for the State Legislative Council for discussion and of course for approval into the law. This is to protect the state from of course abundant labor force which are there working, but the state is not getting anything from them. The last agenda which was discussed is a memo from the State Minister of Agriculture about destruction of teak forest reserve in Central Equatoria State. The minister has actually undertaken a field visit to Yei, Morobo and Lanya to see the destruction which is happening in the forest reserve in those areas. And remember, the governor issued a decree stopping lumbering in this forest reserve.
The Minister of Health in Central Equatoria has handed over medical supplies to the communities of Rokon and Terkeka Payams. The assortment was a donation from South Sudanese in the diaspora as support to the victims of the current crisis in the country. Ed Stephen reports.
Minister of Health, Central Equatoria, has handed over medical assortments to the communities of Rokon and Terkeka Payams of Central Equatoria State. The assortment was a donation from South Sudanese in diaspora as assistance to the victims of last mid-December failed quarantine. The State Minister of Health, Dr. Emmanuel Ejabaya, after the handing over ceremony of the medical assortments, discussed with the health stakeholders the progress of work and challenges being faced in Rokon and Terkeka Payams. Dr. Ija assured the state government and health organizations of his commitment to promote health services in the state.
From the money of the operation services which have been released from the Ministry of Finance to the counties, these people should be encouraged, and also fuel. Fuel should be given on a regular basis to the generator which is working here in the PHCC. This is how we can improve the service of our population.
The Terkeka Payam Health Director, Swaka Simon, appreciated the medical support from the South Sudanese in diaspora, which will improve health services in their Payams.
Ana morra busud da kon dalil region Payam, busud pitana tasaha, Emmanuel Ija, itu ija fago da kwaltan na region ina, wazurufa lebaani na ina sunu zato.
For SSTV News in Juba, Eddie Stephen.
And the chairperson of the Union of Journalists in South Sudan called on journalists to honor the World Press Freedom Day on the 3rd May 2014. Speaking to South Sudan Television, the chairperson of the Union of Journalists, Oliver Modi Philip, urged the government to enact the media bills into laws to regulate journalists' daily activities. He called on journalists to provide accurate and balanced information to the public, adding that media is the core center in nation building.
My message to all journalists in the Republic of South Sudan is that journalism is a call. We are called to serve the people of the Republic of South Sudan by telling the truth, by being honest, and by being balanced. We are called to tell the people of the Republic of South Sudan to respect the laws. And we are called to give the image that we are actually neutral to any issues that are happening in the Republic of South Sudan. You journalists outside there, don't lay down your tools. Be always under the sun for sake of our people in the Republic of South Sudan. Tell the truth so that the truth can set us free. To the civil society, I would like you to cooperate with the media. It is the media that can make you achieve your goals, whether at individual level, at a community level, or at state or national level. It is the media that can inform you and act as a bridge between you and the authorities. Lastly but not the least, my message to our government of the Republic of South Sudan, under the leadership of His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, we need, Your Excellency, the media laws for you to enact them into laws. We need them, our President, because without the law, we may be doing mistakes, and we will not know that we are doing those mistakes. Without the law, we may be doing the right thing. Somebody will say, no, you are doing wrong thing. And between us and the people outside there, we need the law in our midst so that it will be the law to speak to all of us. And I believe that sooner or later, you are going to enact our bills into laws. That is the Public Broadcasting Bill, the Media Authority Bill, and then the the Access to Information Bill. This will actually make us to establish a complete media structure in the Republic of South Sudan so that we can also meet the international standard of making a functional media.
And to wind up the bulletin, let's have the news headlines once again. U.S. Secretary of State urges both sides in South Sudan conflict to end violence immediately. President Kerry leaves for Nairobi to attend a regional summit. And the World Council of Churches calls for immediate end to hostilities in South Sudan. That brings us to the end of the news. Once again, rejoice on behalf of the team, wishing journalists a happy World Press Freedom Day. And thanks for joining us.